fan.
Somehow I can imagine you were a little bit of a rebel in school, Simon. I mean, chess players usually, you know, they like to concentrate for a long time.
Gives you that idea?
Yeah, what on earth gives you that idea?
Yeah, you know.
I did have my moments of being a rather naughty boy at times, but you know, I did university as well in the end. But yeah, it was ages ago now. Another part of my life, and they've started.
They have started.
Yeah.
Blitz game number 2, must win for Christopher Yu. What's happening?
Wow, it's a must-win situation for White, but Erigaisi is black. He's happy with the draw, and he plays quite a provocative opening, the King's Indian defence. And Christopher Yu doesn't seize the centre. White could have stepped forward in the centre of the board there, and that would have been the most aggressive approach. Instead, we've transposed into a variation of the Grunfeld defence. And here, black is relatively solid. I've seen Erigaisi adopt this setup before, so he's got some experience there, and I have a feeling he's got more experience than Christopher Yu. Look at the clock times already, Christopher. It's only 20 seconds, 30 seconds down on the clock, but that is pretty significant because this is still a very well-known position. White here just needs to get his king to safety. That's the main move. You just need to play fast, Christopher. Save that time for later. You will need it.
Does he have a surprise up his sleeve? I mean, because otherwise, like you say, he would have castled already and the game would have continued.
I think he's just... I've never seen him play this before, Christopher. Earlier, he had success by playing very directly. He was pushing his king's pawn on move 1. Now it feels like he's caught out in a variation that he's maybe less experienced with.
It's very strange that you changed opening because, you know, if you're winning, if you've won every single game with White, why change? Yeah. You know, it doesn't make any sense. You've won, you know, 2-3 games with White today, and you change your opening. It doesn't make sense to me. Stick with the winning formula, and this is now a lot more positional. This kind of structure, isn't it? Yes, there's an imbalance in the structure, which gives White still, you know, great chances, but it's not a full frontal king attack, basically, this kind of structure.
And also what worries me is that this has all been seen before. You know, he's playing slowly and it's still pretty much very thematic. I mean, I haven't seen anything surprising. And this is the typical pawn break that black does. And now the big thing is, will White step forward with a pawn in the centre?
I can remember Keith Arkyle talking about this position, and he loves taking the pawn here and going for this kind of ending. But the only way probably to get an advantage, David, you play these positions a lot. The Grunfeld. Yeah, what would you do here?
I mean, now I would take the pawn, but Christopher's last move on the previous turn is known to be inaccurate. I mean, if you want to push your pawn forward and fianchetto the white dark square bishop, you should have done it on the previous move. Now things are falling apart. I think White stepping forward with a pawn in the centre.
Big mistake, right?
It's a big mistake. Black is ready to open up his dark squared bishop. Look at black's dark squared bishop. So many targets on this diagonal. Instead, we see a bunch of exchanges. The queen's coming off, but Christopher needs to win. It's not his type of position. Every win we've seen so far is imbalanced or him attacking, and especially with the queens on. So right now, black is absolutely fine. Very healthy pawn structure. Black has a 3 versus 2 pawn majority on the left side, on the queen side. And actually, that tends to be a big factor in these positions.
Yeah, I mean, there's still play left, but as you say, the queens have come off the board. He's changed the nature of the game compared to the other ones, and I'm just not sure why. He was winning, keeping the queens on the board, so it is strange.
Or sacrificing his queen as he...
Yeah, just, you know, who needs a queen? Give it up. And black has equalised here, it's fair to say, but it's only an equal position.
Yeah.
Look at the clocks. Christopher's clearly uncomfortable. He spent 2 minutes more than Erigaisi, and also this is still a relatively known position. This will come with experience, I think, those decision-making on opening choices and things.
This rook move looks rather passive, I would say. You know, he's just playing on the defensive. He's overprotecting his bishop. I mean, I fully expected him to actually come forward with his pawns. You know, there's a pawn imbalance in the position.
I remember, again, just Grandmaster, this move here, I was going to suggest, I remember Grandmaster Keith Arkyle is an expert in these positions. He says you've got to keep that pawn on the E-file where it is to support your pieces. You don't want to move that pawn forwards. That's his argument, until it's ready. And actually, White has now lost another tempo by not moving that pawn forwards. He'd love to make some exchanges and do what we call a minority attack on the queen side, using his 2 pawns, trying to target black's pawns, but this is a long way off now. Black is just developing extremely comfortably here.
Yeah, and black has a variety of moves. You can bring your rooks to the centre, try and trade off a set of rooks. I would be tempted, at least, to calculate pushing black's A pawn forward. black's 3 pawns versus 2 pawns advantage, it makes sense to play on that side of the board. That's where you have the majority. That's kind of classic chess wisdom. But look at Christopher Yu shaking his head. It's not his type of position. That is the key, especially in Blitz. You've got to be comfortable. Yeah. Whether it's objectively good, objectively bad, it doesn't really matter as long as you're comfortable and happy to play quick moves, familiar with the patterns.
And it's horrible to lose tempo. I mean, this move is a very typical way to try and get initiative on the queen side. And again, white's move there, it gives up some big squares. The black knight can now jump forwards, which it couldn't do before. The black pawn can gain more space, and here it goes, the pawn going forwards. Black must be better now, I would have thought. Everything's going black's way.
You are absolutely correct, Simon.
I am the bar.
The bar.
Who needs a bar when you've got the ginger GM?
Yeah.
And I like bars.
And
chocolate bars, bars.
I was thinking
Karaoke
goodnight bars.
Karaoke bars.
Oh, karaoke bars, yeah.
Yeah.
They're very popular in Norway, aren't they? So,
Very popular, especially in the chess community, I've noticed.
They really are. I can confirm.
I've seen some videos.
Meanwhile, a couple of pawns have disappeared from the board. Black does have an isolated pawn. This pawn capture, the black pawn that sits on this c6 square that's highlighted now, is a potential weakness. But the problem is black's pieces are so good.
this last move, you know, it's just trading off more pieces.
Yeah, maybe he felt he had to. The dark squared bishop.
Oh, but hang on a minute, look at this move.
This is maybe a killer.
This is just that pawn, that black pawn, which run all the way out the board, combined with that bishop. The two black bishops, they're just assassins. They, you know, I think this could be the end.
Yeah, it's sad for Christopher because he's played such a good game today. Just in general, he's been really sharp, but a bad opening choice in the open in this Blitz game, I feel.
Oh, no, Arjun didn't show any emotion. I was getting excited there. Nope, same face. He's so calm.
He's the new Iceman, Arjun.
He is the Iceman, definitely. He's got no doubt about it.
And that dark square bishop for black, it couldn't be captured because then black would have created a very strong passed b-pawn, one square away from promotion. This bishop can nearly never be captured, so you can either defend it right now. You could also start calculating and start wondering whether you can take white's remaining pawn on this left half with your bishop. I would just defend this with the black knight, I feel.
Yeah.
Like full control.
Reinforce that bishop. And that white pawn on a2 is just going to fall. It has no defenders. You can take that at liberty.
On the bright side, he's caught up on the clock now. It's level. 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes each. And he does take this pawn. Arjun is a very quick, very confident calculator.
But maybe this is part of this kind of negative thinking that you kind of touched upon in the previous games, where Arjun just needs a draw. So therefore, he's taking decisions that maybe aren't the best.
Well, he wants to go for the win, Arjun, here. He's skewered the two white rooks. So look at the black bishop, the two white rooks. Same diagonal. Oof. This is a check, though. Where does the black king go? Are there any safe squares?
And let's remember, you know, black only needs to draw to win the match. White must win, but I don't know. It's messy to me. I can't calculate this position quickly enough. I mean, to me, I'm not entirely sure what's happening here now.
Yeah. What is the bar saying, Simon?
We need that bar.
I reckon the bar says equal.
That is absolutely correct.
Wow.
I am the bar.
0.0. You are the bar.
Oh, hello. That looks dangerous.
He goes into the pin. I mean,
That looks. I could never play a move like that personally. I'll just be like, that is. Yeah.
It's beautiful though, because the whole idea, the knight moves, then the pawn takes the bishop.
Yeah. Oh, hello.
Knight does move, but why didn't he move his bishop? His bishop's captured now. Suddenly, everything's falling apart for white.
I don't understand.
Erigaisi showed some emotion. I think Christopher, did he just blunder there? I think he finally cracked under the pressure. Erigaisi leaning back, confident. Maybe Christopher just forgot his bishop was on prise.
That's the first time I've seen the Iceman chill.
Yeah.
You know, properly chill. He's leant back. I think he knows he's got this now.
Yeah. And right now, white is just the exchange down, a rook for knight. But the problem is one of those rooks can move. You can pin this knight. The white knight's on the same line as its rook. It's also very tempting to bring one black rook down to the bottom of the board, eye up the white king. At the very best, Christopher gets into an endgame with equal material, but unfortunately this pin paralyzes his knight. And it's going to be game over. Arjun is going to progress to the semi-finals. He fought back, Christopher. Like you said, it was equal. He should have just kept his dark square bishop and crossed his fingers. It was still super complicated, this endgame.
And rook takes rook, and, well, the best white can hope for is just a draw.
Yeah, that's not the best knight you'll have ever seen. This white knight in the corner, struggling to escape.
Yeah. Yeah, your exchange down here, obviously in the ending, the rook is much more powerful than the knight. Yes, white has an extra pawn, but that doesn't count against such a strong rook, and black just has to be sensible, don't do anything silly. So he's centralising his king a little bit. Maybe try to exchange the bishops off. Let's make some more exchanges. Don't blunder, and you're through, as long as you don't make any mistakes. And you know what I do here?
As white?
Yeah, as white.
I know
Offer a draw.
No, I just resign. So.
It will probably be accepted, the draw offer, just because it would help Arjun progress to the semis, but a draw is the same as a loss at this point.
Checkmate now threatened, actually. Quite a crafty checkmate. Little net there. The white king has to step out of a check from the rook. But, I mean, I mean, the white knight's actually dominated. It's actually, look at that white knight. Black's bishop has doing a great job of just stopping it really coming out. So
it's in the stable, Simon.
It's in the stable, the horsey stable.
It jumps back, but it's just going to get captured, and every exchange, every trade helps black. No chances now to win, unless Erigaisi gets disconnected or mouse slips.
Yeah.
He won't blunder. It's just not Erigaisi's style.
No.
It's actually objectively a draw with best play. Bishop and 4 versus rook and 3, all on the same side of the board. But that is enough for Erigaisi. He's trying to repeat the position. What do you think? Do miracles exist? If he wins this one, Christopher Yu, he's got to buy a lottery ticket, because I've never seen the side with the bishop win this endgame before.
No.
Maybe just needs a minute. So close to having a dream come true, playing in a semi-finals with the top players in the world. But he's already done so good being here in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, this won't be the last time we talk about him in a knockout phase.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's 15, that's right, 15 years old, and another talent, right? Give him a couple of years, he'll be 100 points higher than he is now, and crushing more people. So.
An exciting time for the American Chess Federation as well, with Christopher, Mishra.
Hans Niemann.
Yeah.
Bunch of players. I mean, there's actually dozens of players that I only heard of in the last year, and suddenly they're 2,500 Grandmaster level, and they're popping up.
Sam Sevian.
Day on day. Jeffrey Zhang,
Yeah, lots.
Meanwhile, okay, the board is frozen. Does that mean no moves? Christopher Yu, it's just hard to create winning chances. I mean, you're running out of material. Can't create a passed pawn. 4 versus 3. Even if white had a rook instead of the white bishop, it's still a draw. So, unfortunately, no way forward. He just waits.
Yeah.
Erigaisi looks very chilled out now. Very calm.
Would you try to win this as white?
I would play till move 100 just for the fun of it. And as soon as we reach move 100, off a draw. But yeah, I mean, in an over-the-board game, I think they would have shaken hands a long time ago.
Yeah.
Why over the board and not online?
There's more chance of a mouse slip or disconnect, or there's more variables. Over the board, also, I think online you can kind of get away with things. Over the board, you just feel a bit embarrassed if you play on in a position like this where there's 0 chances of winning.
Well, you can see Black's plan.
Wait for
but maybe, you know, there's a chance, because Erigaisi has like some pre-moves going on.
Yeah.
Could he play on that?
If there was no increment, for example, the players do gain 3 seconds after every move. If there was no increment, play on. Try and win on the clock. Hope for some pre-moves.
Here you go. The king can't go to its beloved square.
So if he does, you can take the king.
New rules.
But still no way to make progress.
Even Bill Gates would win this, I can see in the Chess24 chat. Bill Gates, who lost to Magnus in
9 moves.
9 moves, was it?
Yeah, I'm not sure he'd win this. This is a drawn position. Unless he's an endgame expert, Bill Gates. You never know.
Be a real endgame expert. So.
And this one, the pawns are disappearing. They're getting traded off.
Yeah.
We're about to see